What's up, y'all? I'm Derek Moore.
I'm Emeka Anwah, and today we're doing episode 1 of The Game Within.
So today's episode will be about adversity. We'll talk about how each of us have handled adversity, gone through adversity throughout our high school, college careers. But before we get started on that, we decided to give y'all a little backstory about how we got where we are, a little backstory about our lives. I'll let Emeka go.
Yeah, so um, I first started playing basketball around, I want to say like 5. My parents just kind of threw me in to like the YMCA. I first started YMCA basketball, and yeah, like they kind of had me doing all types of sports. I played baseball, I played basketball, of course. I played soccer, ran track. So I kind of just got to do a lot of things. So at a young age, but they threw me into basketball at about 5, maybe 6 years old. So what about you?
So dad was a basketball coach. I felt like I was born with a basketball in my hand. The story of me being born is, my dad was coaching a basketball game. He had to come back from the game and watch me be born. So it's always been in my blood, but I decided to take it a little serious a little later in life. But it's always been a part of me. It's just been a family oriented thing. So, but going into my high school and college story, I went to Clay Talbot High School my junior year, broke my leg there, didn't play my junior year, decided to transfer to Springville High School under Coach Jeremy Monso, who actually Mac played for too. We
Yeah,
just saw him earlier today when we were getting in the gym. So played for him for a year. Had some success at Springville. Ended up at Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi. Followed my brother Damon. Played left tackle there. Freshman and sophomore year there. Didn't put up great numbers. Tried to contribute to the team where I could, but it just wasn't a great fit for me. So I decided to transfer. Transfer portal. Everybody decides to go in there nowadays. Ended up at the University of Montevallo, closer to home, about 45-minute drive from my house. So, it was great for my family to be able to come watch my games, but it was also just such a better situation for me and my mental health, going from being 4.5 hours away from my family and not really having too many people except for my brother there, and being able to play with Montevallo for Coach Camara just gave me a chance, and I thrived there. I played pretty good basketball, and now looking at a professional career.
yeah. I mean, you got the Player of the Year. Give you your flowers. Player of the Year this year. It was amazing, like seeing everything you accomplished, man. I mean, God is really good. Like, uh, funny story is like I've known this dude for like forever, but we didn't really know each other. And before he broke his leg, dude was like chubby, like real
Huge,
chubby.
bro.
I would see him at the YMCA, and I just didn't know nothing about him. And just seeing his growth is just it's unbelievable. Like seeing that it really inspired me. Like really anybody can really just change and get whatever they have set done, like whatever they got um set in their hearts that they want to accomplish. So like to kind of get into my story, just a brief rundown like you did. Uh I always went to school in the Hewitt Trustful like school system. So went to school to Hewitt through like elementary to high school. Played 3 years under a different coach than my senior year coach, which was Coach Monso that Derek mentioned. Um, but yeah, I got to play 4 years there. I met amazing teammates that I still keep in contact with today, and just formed a real brotherhood with those guys. Like we went through a lot at our time there, but like I don't regret anything. Like not one moment. Like all the conversations, even the practices that sucked, because we still talk about those practices today. Um, but yeah, like I love those guys. I love the school system. Love the community that I got to play for. Then I moved on to Lawson State. This is a JUCO in Alabama, about 30 minutes away from my house. So the first year I stayed at home, realized I couldn't really get as good as I wanted to staying at home, driving 35 plus minutes back and forth because it's either I'm staying at the crib the whole day and I'm like starving myself. Because fun fact, if it was crazy because at Lawson State, if you're a basketball player but you don't stay on campus, you're not on a meal plan. So I was on a meal plan my first year, and that's JUCO for you. I was on a meal plan, so it's like I'm either spending money or I'm driving back home for food, but I want to get in the gym, so it was just this tug of war of what to do. And I just decided that ultimately the next year I would move in, which I don't regret at all. I was able to get in the gym a lot more. Met a lot of amazing people there too. That's like one thing about basketball I love is that you meet so many different type of people through basketball. It's amazing. And then from there, I went on to Point Park University. It's in Pittsburgh. So I went from playing in Alabama my whole life, from even the first 2 years of college, to going all the way up north to Pittsburgh. And I'll say like it wasn't nothing short of a culture shock. Like really, it really was crazy to like it's a 360. Like well, 360 would I guess a
You be
180.
in the same.
I guess a 180. It was a 180. So like it was just really different for me. Like northern people, northern lifestyle, like it's completely different. Uh, and just the way of life is different. But I, again, like I've met a lot of people up there that I'll still like stay in contact with the rest of my life. So nothing short of a blessing to be where I'm at today.
And it's crazy when Mac was talking about early in his, or early on in knowing me. Like I was telling my grandparents today, I've known Mac since I was like probably what 12, 13 years old, but I
Yeah,
didn't really know Mac until last summer. Like the our situation of our friendship is insane. Like we've always known who each other was. Like we've shared the court probably 100 times before,
yeah,
and never thought in my mind would I be sitting right next to him making a podcast with him, and just going to him about all the challenges in my life, and him coming to me with the stuff that he goes through, and I mean it's just a blessing. Like we were in the gym one day. You can jump in if I messed this
yeah,
story up.
yeah,
'Cause we've told this
yeah.
story probably 10 times just to 10 different people. So we were in the gym. We both just went to the YMCA to go shoot, and then we just got to talking. Mech had probably been there 10, 15 minutes, and I walked in. Mech hadn't got started yet, so we just got to talking. I'm like, "What's up?" Just catching up with him. He was still at Lawson then. He was still at
Yeah,
Lawson,
I still at Lawson.
trying to transfer to a different school, and I had just finished my first year in Montevallo, so we were just catching up about that. Then it really got like I got to see a lot of my ideals and my principles and morals that I stand on in the things that he's saying, and I'm like, oh, like this is kind of crazy hearing it come, like hearing such like mindedness coming from somebody else that you known your whole life, but you've never, given the time for a conversation or
Right.
and then crazy thing is we were probably there for 2 hours and didn't shoot a basketball.
Didn't shoot a basketball, man. Like it, like it's not like like obviously like coaches like I love like a lot of my coaches they'll be like, don't go in the gym and just sit there like
Yeah,
go like get off on your phone and not get working. But like it was just you could tell like it was just meant for us
yeah,
to connect that day and now we get in the gym every day and
yeah,
actually get shots up and
yeah.
actually get work in and not just socializing. But that day, I mean, we didn't. It was bigger than basketball that day.
So
Basically,
because
it was bigger than
we were
basketball.
both going through stuff at that time. Like we were both going through like crazy mental hardships, and like I was 1 year removed from what Mech was just going through from transferring. So he was able, or I was able to offer him advice rather.
Right,
But then I'm going through stuff that Mech has seen freshman sophomore year at a JUCO because he was in a tough situation. So he's
right.
offering me advice, and then you could just like you can kind of tell when a friendship is about to blossom. Like I had Mech on Snapchat, but I probably never talked to him. Where like
Yeah,
we followed each other on Instagram, kept up with each other's journey, but I never had a reason to reach out. And then
yeah,
it's like just from day one, that's my brother. Like it's just never really been. It's just a crazy. It's the only way I can describe it, and we've said this every time we told this. It's just God's time, and God put
yeah,
him
for sure.
there. God put me there, just for us to have that conversation and to grow into what we plan to achieve in the future, because we do have bright futures ahead. But you
Right.
can't get to the bright futures if you don't go through the adversity. You
Yes,
gotta
yes, we
go through
can,
the adversity.
and we're gonna get into that first. we're gonna get into the second segment, which is gonna be us kind of just explaining when we started taking it as serious as we did. And I guess I'll start it off.
Yeah.
So I didn't start taking basketball as seriously as I wanted to until about middle school. I would say it was like, nah, I would say I took it serious eighth grade going into ninth grade. Cause like middle school, like when I'm playing with the PE like kids, like PE, we're playing basketball at PE. Like yeah, I'm like I was pretty better. I was better than the average person, but like I wasn't like nothing crazy. And like I just remember, there were just certain times where I'll get criticism by people older than me, like after games, and they'll be like saying this and saying that. And I was like, dang, like it sucks to suck, like. And I was just a young kid, but you know, sports. We know the sports world can be like not cool, but when you playing for some and people want like a certain outcome, you know, they're not gonna hold back. Like
Yeah.
they don't care. Like they're gonna say what they gotta say. Like I've had parents like say some crazy stuff to me before, and just that feeling was like, okay, like I don't want to feel like this ever again. And that summer from eighth grade to ninth grade, I took the biggest leap ever. Like, um, I really excelled in my skill set, like, and really like created that gap compared to my peers, and I was able to play, you know, play up a little bit, play a couple of varsity games my freshman year. Mainly played JV my freshman year, but I did get to play. I did get a varsity bucket. Uh,
That's
you
all that
know,
matters.
that's all that matters. I
A
did get
young
a
bucket. That's all
varsity
that matters.
bucket like as a freshman, but you know, but yeah, like I just took a big leap, and I mean, I can't give nobody glory but God for that. Like, I was able to really dial in that summer and just really take it serious, and it just woke me up. Like that's when it all started. After that, I was really like, okay, like I'm about to like
Let's
really
go.
take basketball
Yeah.
serious. I was running track at the same time before that. And then when I got to high school, I was like, all right, like basketball is gonna be what I do.
So entirely different journey over entirely different journey. Um, in the 10th grade, I'll say we'll start this in the 10th grade. Going into my 10th grade year, texting my dad, "Hey, can we talk about football when I get home?" He immediately knew. He tells this story a lot because he loves this story. I used to be like Meg said. I used to be a bigger fella. Might clip y'all a picture if y'all are lucky. I don't know if I'm gonna expose myself yet, but yeah, going home, I remember telling my dad, I don't think football is for me. I think basketball is my route. He looks at me and tells me, hey, like, it's your life. You need to, pursue what you want to pursue, but I need to know you're going to take this serious. So I immediately get to work with Coach Montso. Going to my 11th grade year, it's looking pretty promising. Like I'm going to be a difference maker on the team in varsity my 11th grade year. Then first game I get to play, I break my legs in warm up or break my left leg in warm ups, and I had to sit out that year. Then I was just blessed to come back my senior year and do some do some things to benefit my team and get an opportunity. But I'd say that the moment I took it serious was my freshman year of college. It took me that long to realize like I can do something bigger with this. And I have to shout out Wyatt Bell from Delta State. I know he's gonna be tuned in. He's been telling me he's excited. So yeah, he was the one that said, "Hey, we're not going to do this today. We're going to get in the gym. Come with me to the gym. Come with me to the gym." I feel like everybody needs somebody like that. And me and Mac met each other at a time where we were like minded. So on the days I don't want to get in the gym, he keeps me online. And there's not many days Mac don't want to get in the gym. There's
Man,
not many days he don't want to, but there's days where I'm like, "Hey Mac, let's get going today," and he responds well. Like that's why we hang out so much. So shout out to Wyatt Bell for really focusing my vision on like you don't. He was basically the first one to tell me in college like you don't know the potential that you have. Like I never thought what I was gonna do my senior year of college was possible. Like I thought I'm gonna be a 4 year college basketball player. I'll contribute where I contribute, but just seeing the way that God has moved in my life. One thing that I had written down, it used to be posted up on my wall in my dorm. Took it down. I'm about to replace that same piece of paper, but I used to tell God, I'll handle the quantity, you handle the quality. That basically
Mm,
means I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to put in the time with the talents that you've given me. The quality of it, I'm going to leave up to you. It can be, I can be a bench player for 4 years,
mm,
or I can excel in ways that I never thought was possible. And then when you look at it through that mindset, it's now I can give God glory through this lens.
yeah,
That's one of the main things we want to do with this podcast is give glory to God because Mac has seen success in his life. I've seen
yeah,
success in my life, and I think a main focal point of this is just that you see the faces here, but there's work behind the scenes, and there's work that really goes on with God in our lives, and
right,
we just plan to give Him the glory through the ups and downs.
right. And I totally agree. And that kind of leads into our next point, um, just about finding ourselves. So the third segment would be like, how did you find yourself um, during this journey? How did you find your identity? And like for me, like okay, I fell in love with basketball, and I'm like basketball this, like basketball that. Like anybody that knows me, if it was God and it was basketball, like I love like honestly, like my family, like yeah, I love my family, and they were there, but like and my mom, like of course my mom and dad,
Yeah.
but really like it was probably God, mom, dad, basketball right here,
Mm.
and honestly, I was just so young, I just didn't know any better, and I started kind of idolizing basketball a little too much, and it wasn't until about honestly, I would say it took me until maybe like senior year, not even maybe freshman year of college to like really understand that I'm bigger than basketball. Like, think a lot of athletes kind of get lost in their sport, and
Yeah.
and it becomes their identity, and that's never like should be the case. Like, you're always bigger than your sport. You're always bigger than your job, your career, whatever it is. So I think I started understanding I was bigger than that when I started telling people around me, teammates around me, like, hey, this is what I went through. And even though it sucks and it feels like this, it's how I became the man I am today. And without God, I wouldn't have any of this.
Yeah.
And I was able to like kind of like, you know, kind of teach people that with God, there's he can do anything. Like one thing I love, and my mom, shout out to my mom, she has an amazing quote, and it's what God cannot do does not exist. And there's just my story is just like countless times, like coming out of high school, I didn't know if I was gonna like where I was gonna go. Like I knew for a fact that I was capable of playing college basketball. But we're in a time and age where there's 6 year players at the time coming out of college. There was COVID years players, so they had extra years. Transfer portal had got introduced, so now coaches are not really looking at high school guys as much, but they're looking at guys in college already who they can get that's already experienced. So like I'm knowing that my timing wasn't gonna be the timing. And as much as it hurt, as much as I wanted to like for things to line up with my timing, I knew that God's timing was eventually gonna show, and I was gonna be able to bear that fruit. And I just had to have faith. Like I was forced to have faith that it was gonna work out. And like a quick story, I actually almost went to Marion Military Institute,
Oh.
and fun fact, like I commit there. It's June. If you know anything about committing to any college sport, but especially basketball, if you're committed in June, you're it's basically set in stone,
Yeah.
basically, because that's already lit. Like that's already
That's already
late.
late.
It's already late. Um, and I get there. I'm there for a week, and I just in my soul, it didn't feel right. And a lot of people joke and they say, once I learned that I had to cut my hair, I was like I was out of there. It wasn't because the
It
hair.
was definitely your
It
hair.
was.
It
It
was your
wasn't
hair.
because of the hair. I promise you, it wasn't because of the hair. I would cut my hair if that means getting to continue to play basketball. But it was just in my soul. Like I just didn't feel like it was the right situation for me, and I prayed to God. So we played in a summer tournament. It was a showcase. It's for JUCO. It's a JUCO showcase. So JUCO, if you don't know, you play 2 years at a JUCO and then you transfer out to a 4 year. So this showcase was meant for us to get to play in front of college coaches. The only way you could play is if you were signed. So I had to sign. I remember the coaches told me like, all right, like you want to come here? We're playing in a tournament, but you have to be signed to play. So of course I signed instantly. I was like, all right, I'm gonna sign. So we practiced for 1 week and we stayed up there for 1 week. And I'm up there for 1 week. Uh, and it was Wednesday. I'm just like, Lord, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like communal restroom, military, bunk beds. Like I never in my life would ever go to the military. So I don't like that's how much I love basketball.
Yeah,
Never in my life would I go to the military, but I was willing to. I thought I was willing to do that to play basketball. I'm just like, if I don't have an amazing season, I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to cope
yeah.
with, because you have up and downs during the season. So if I'm not doing good with the only reason I'm here,
It's
like
gonna kill it.
it's gonna kill it. Like I might lose myself, and I didn't even want to give it the chance because I know how the basketball season is. It's already a mental toll itself. So it's very important picking a school that you actually love, if you can, if you're able to pick a school that you love, because you don't want to be in a situation where you already hate being there, and then you're going through the ups and downs of the season. So it's Wednesday. I'm like, Lord, just tell me like if I should stay. And by Sunday, when we're done playing, I left. That Sunday, we played our last game, and I said, Lord, I'm gonna trust in you, and I'm gonna ask for my letter of intent back. It was in the middle of June, and I took a gamble, the ultimate risk, and by the grace of God, I landed at Lawson State by August, a week before school. 1 week before school, the coach gave me a chance, and the rest was history. So like that's like how I found my identity, was because I realized that when basketball wasn't working, I basically had to force myself to search like who am I outside of basketball, and with that I was able to say like, okay, like I can use this to really spread the word of God and really show like with faith anything's possible. Like I can't do this alone. Like I can't. You can't do it alone. It's important to have that faith to lean back on, because like without him, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly. My journey of finding myself is it happened around the same time Megs did. It was but my sophomore year of college, so we were both a little bit older. Um, from your senior year of basketball, if you know you're going to a college, you know it consumes you, like
Mm-hmm.
because you got to get recruited, you got to sign, then you're going to a whole different situation. You're going from where you're the man to where there's three guys who are 22 years old playing over you. So going from there, I'm trying to work as hard as I can, and then you get there, it's a culture shock. It's like, oh, this isn't even enough. That's why I shout out Wyatt Bell so much, because he figured that out in high school, so he was able to pass that knowledge on to me. So
Right.
sophomore year of college, about midway through the year, we just took a bad loss. At this time, I'm probably playing 12 minutes a game, getting about 4 shot attempts, trying to climb my way up, and it's not going well for me. I'm not close to home. I see my brother a lot, but I miss my mom, and Meg knows how me and my mom are.
Yeah, you love your
Yeah,
mama.
man,
Y'all best friends.
we're best friends. So I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm like, Ma, I don't know what to do. It's wearing on me. And my mom tells me she hated coming to games and seeing me after the game be so beat up and just
Mm.
like in my head, because she also saw the potential that I had, but she
Right.
knows I can't benefit this team right now. Like that's also just a testament to her for always pouring into me. Like when I don't see it, even somebody sees it. She poured that into me. So leaving my sophomore year, I just tried to get through that year, which trying to get through a year in basketball is not ever how you want to do it. But
Yeah.
I just tried to get through the year, force myself to make it through, and then the season ends, and I'm dead set on transferring, but I'm going through so many mental health trials. It's like, is it even worth it at this point? Do I love it enough to give anybody else a shot? And then we get in the transfer portal, and that is just that's when it declines bad because you think you're better than what you are. It happens to a lot of people. It happened to me. I'll admit it. I thought I was much better than I really was at that time. I'll say I have grown a lot since my sophomore year. But you think you're better than you actually are. You're not getting what you think. And coaches are kind of telling you stuff that you don't like to hear. But that's college basketball world. It's a
For
business
sure.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so I'm going through phone calls, phone calls. I'm frustrated. I'm calling my dad. I'm calling my mom, but I haven't called my heavenly Father yet. That was the problem. I
Hmm.
never gave God. I never broke down and just said my life is yours. At this point, I'm trying to figure it out for myself. So my identity right now is a basketball player.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find my next home. So then I called my grandma. I told this story on I can't remember what podcast. I told this story. I talked to my grandma and I said, "Hey, Granny, you know, this ain't a call that you're expecting, but I don't know where to turn. I don't know, I don't know what's going on. Me and my grandma have been great. I love my granny, but she's like, when I give her a call, it's to check on her, but I needed her for me at this point. So I'm like, Granny, like, where do I turn? What do I do? And shout out Granddaddy. He's a pastor,
Mm.
and First Lady Moore will tell you. She'll let you know where you need to turn. She said, "I've told you this since you was 4 years old. I'll tell you this every day since then. There's always one place you can turn." And from that day forward, I just dove in. And Meg said this a couple of days ago, talking about my growth, not even as a basketball player. Like he's bigger than basketball. He was talking about my growth as a human, and we were just talking about how fast, like how God can really fast track you. And so from the end of my sophomore year, going into my junior year, I'm on fire for God, and I feel like that's a stairway you'd love to be on. As hard as it is, not easy.
Yeah.
It
No.
truly is not
A
easy.
lot of
There's
people
there's a
get
lot that
that
goes into it,
twisted.
but I feel like going into my junior years when I found myself because I found my identity in Christ.
And that's amazing. It's amazing, man.
It's crazy how it works though because I met Mech at the exact time I'm saying I went through this, and Mech has been in it for a year, so Mech's younger than me, but Mech is pouring into me like Mech is going through it because he grew so fast. He let God work in his life before I did. So Mech is pouring into me, and now it's fun seeing how we interact with each other.
Yeah, and like that's the best part about it. Is like we both get to like make each other better and challenge each other every day. Not just with basketball, but like faith. Like we challenge each other. Like did you get into the word? Like are you letting God handle it?
Yeah.
And like that's just one thing I do really appreciate about our dynamic. And that just kind of like another another thing that it helps connect this final point, which will be the main topic of today, adversity. So, what is the biggest adversity that you have faced in your career?
I'll say, I mean, I hate to go back to it, but I'll say the transfer portal my sophomore year is just, you know, when you average what I average, people aren't really contacting you. You got to seek out your next home. So I was blessed with Coach Kamara giving me a chance, but that period from when you enter the portal, do the training videos, do all that, and then it's just like you're in the portal.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like that. It'll mess with your head because, like I said, I thought I was much better than myself
right.
or how good I was at the time. So I'm reaching out to coaches, not getting responses. I think at that time I was so lost already to where, I felt like I had nowhere to turn. So being able to get through that and then just go forward and have success is just
2 hours later.
dang, where was I at? Oh, okay. So then you get to the portal and, you know, you're really not getting the respect that you think you deserve, and it really takes a toll. It'll take a toll on your mental health. And, I think getting through that adversity is the best thing that has happened for me. I mean, and it it makes you look at life through such a different lens. You're
Mm-hmm.
grateful for relationships that you have and people that pour into you, and it really puts perspective on your life.
Yeah, yeah, and like especially, I definitely agree with like it really changes how you look at life. Like so, the biggest adversity I faced in my career was rewind to sophomore year of high school. Uh, I I was the most confident kid like you could ever think of. Like I'm telling teachers I'm going to Duke. Like I'm really thinking I'm just this like really good player. And I had potential. I did. But Duke potential, I probably not. But that was what really helped me though, in a sense. Like it was a little bit ignorant, but at the same time, like when I my first game, like I'm 15 years old and I'm playing against D1 players. We were playing Hoover High School, and Hoover, I mean, they just won 3 state titles back to back to back. So this is a high school that's dominant in Alabama. Everybody that who's in Alabama knows Hoover High School usually has a pretty good basketball team historically. And I had 15 points my first game, and then the next game I had 16 points, and then the next game I had 15 again. And I'm like, okay, wait, like I can kind of hoop, and like it was just that confidence, like that confidence that I was the best player on the court. I truly thought I was the best player. And next thing I know, like until this day, I don't really know why. And this is not a knock. I don't know if he'll ever watch this, but so my coach, like I mentioned earlier, my coach was different from my senior coach. So my coach at the time, he he benches me, and usually you get benched for performance, but this one wasn't really out of performance. And in his defense, I guess we were a team that didn't win a lot. My first 3 years of high school, we did not win a lot. But so I guess like maybe it was like trying to figure things out, switch things up. Like I was a starter. I forgot to mention that I was a starter as a sophomore. Um, I started from that first game against Hoover, and I was starting up until this point. I think we were probably like maybe like 10 games into the season. I've been starting, but we weren't winning a lot, and I was starting over upperclassmen. And then I get put into the office, and he's like, yeah, like starters, like no, not starters. He's like, yeah, sophomores don't usually play like 30 minutes a night, 25 minutes a night, like usually that comes later in their career. And yeah, I'm like, yeah. I didn't think nothing of it. I thought it was obvious, like, and no, not to any of my teammates at that time. I don't think they'll take anything offensive, but I just felt like I earned that right. I was winning the battles at practice. Like I was showing it on the court, and I didn't think age had anything to do with it. I never thought age mattered. I mean, I on TV I see guys all the time, especially in this day and age. They're the youngest guy on the court, and they're going off and playing 1 year on the highest level, like playing 1 year in college and going off to the league. So like this is a normal thing now. Like it's not an age limit, to this thing. And like I kind of get, some coaches have that philosophy of like being senior heavy or like upperclassman heavy, but I had started. So like in my head, I just didn't understand what he was leading to. And he just started saying like he had ended up saying basically like you're doing good right now, but I feel like this upperclassman may be able to help us a little more in this position. So then he moves me. Not only did he move me from I was playing like the 2 and 3 at the time. If you don't know about high school basketball, if you're like 6'3", like
You're going down.
you're playing like it's either you're
You're
playing
going down.
every position or you're playing a position you're not supposed to be playing. So I'm playing like the 2 and 3 at this time. Um, and he was like, I think like maybe if I move you to the 4 and you come off the bench, that would be better for us. And I had zero clue what he was talking about. Like, and again, this is not a knock at anyone, but it's just I felt like I had proved that I deserved to be
Like, that was
on
your
that
spot.
court, like, you know, regardless of class. And so he makes that change, and we ultimately didn't start winning. I'm not gonna say that's because of the change. We weren't winning before, so I'm not gonna be like, oh well, I was in there. I'm not gonna say that, but we didn't win or nothing when the change was made. If people were wondering that, but at that time, my young 15-year-old self just didn't have the principles to stay level headed through the adversity.
Yeah.
And by the time he knew it, like all that confidence was gone.
Shot.
Like all that, like the confidence was through the roof, and now the confidence is below, buried deep. So like I'll come in the game and I'm just like, okay, well, I can't mess up. Like, I can't miss a shot. Physically, my shot starts changing. Like, well, he changed my shot. That's another thing.
That's another story. Another story.
He changed my shot. I know a lot of basketball players know how that's something is really
That's a bad.
It's a toss up. Sometimes it works for kids, sometimes it don't. But you really don't do it. Like
I say past 12.
yeah, like you really, like, it's really risky. He changed my shot, and I was shooting just fine before then. But the thing about my shot was I started here, kind of like a little bit middle towards my left, and I ended middle, like I ended lined up. But he just wanted me to bring it to the right and start here. So I have a new shot. I'm going into my I'm ending the year and I'm going into my junior year with a new shot. So not only did I end sophomore year with no confidence, but now I'm trying to build confidence in this new shot. So it's a snowball effect. I had an off season. I'm in the gym, but the confidence I lost was still gone. So I'm going into junior year, and whenever I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I don't want to mess up, and like I'm just thinking too much. I develop a hitch in my shot because I don't want to miss. Like, and then it's just this mind game. And I'm starting and I get benched again my junior year. And we go I get benched after like 7 games, and then we go on a 10-game losing streak. Once again, I'm not saying I really am not. I'm just telling the story. That's just how it unfolded. I got benched and then we went on a 10-game losing streak. And during this time, I'm like, okay, like offensively, like maybe I'll like because I'm not horrible. Like I play college basketball now. If you play college basketball now, like in high school, you probably want.
You were a good.
In high school, you probably want to. Like I don't want to. I've been talking negative. Like I'm not a horrible player. I wasn't a horrible player, but like it just wasn't. I wasn't showing the best of my abilities, basically, because of this lack of confidence. So now it's like, oh, like if my first shot went in that night, then I probably had a good game.
Yeah.
Like I like people respected me, I guess, like around the city, like or around like people who other hoopers, like they didn't think I was trash for the most part. I mean I'm sure some people thought I was trash. Like everybody got their own opinion, but um yeah, so like I wasn't awful, but it's just that consistency wasn't there because of the lack of confidence. And um yeah, so Junior year, I just during that 10-game losing streak, I'm like, okay, I can't be consistent on the offensive end because I'm losing this confidence. But I really want to go to college and play basketball. So I'm not gonna let this stop me. So what ended up happening is I developed an elite defensive game. And that's when I realized, like, okay, how can I get on the floor and force myself to play? And that's when I became an elite defender. And by the end of that season, I ended up winning all area and and getting my starting spot back. So like that was good. I guess that was like a kind of a confidence booster. Yeah, like ending the year off by getting my starting spot back, playing pretty well, and getting all area. Once again, we won single digit games. We didn't have like a winning season, but it just ended on that note with all the adversity that I went through. It kind of like helps me end on a better note. And then senior years, we get a new coach, and next thing you know, we have the best records from 2012. Not I keep saying like not trying to disrespect you because I like in this world like a lot of people kind of like take it and run. So I'm not knocking my coach from my first 3 years of high school. Like he's a big reason on how I became the man I am today. It's just that when Monso came in, we just made a complete flip in our program, and they're doing good now. Like they're still winning, and the winning ways are continuing. So shout out to Hugh Trustful and Coach
Shout out to
Monso.
Coach Monso. We're giving him high praise.
Yeah, like
he's a dog.
Like what's crazy is so that lack of confidence still haunted me going into senior year. But Monso was like, yo, like he just came in straight, like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
and that's like, how he is.
He was like he'll cuss me out. Like now like sometimes you need to hear that. Yeah. Like and then just be like, what are you doing? Like you should be out here dominating. Yeah. And I ended up by like thank God, like I ended up having a good senior year and was able to get past that adversity, like and get to college. And even to this day, I still try to get better at confidence, man. Like one thing I'll say to like kind of end this off is don't lose sight of your confidence. And one thing I've just lately discovered with just diving into the word and just really opening my eyes is when you make life bigger than yourself, it's easier to have that confidence because my voice cracked.
I heard it.
It's easier to have that confidence when you make life bigger than yourself because you won't feel that pressure of like, oh, I can't, like, I don't want to mess up, I don't want to do this, and you just pour yourself into God and be selfless. It's easier to find that confidence. It's easier to just play for something bigger than yourself.
And it is biblical too. Like God does so, like don't lose your confidence.
Yeah,
God does like keep your confidence about yourself. Like
right.
Because once you lose your confidence within yourself, like what do you have?
Exactly.
Because then you have nothing to fall back on.
Nothing.
Like, and that's a big like. I'll share an example from today. We got in the gym today, and we go 2 free throws each. We go, I make 2, he makes 2, I make 2, he makes 2, and whoever gets those last 2 free throws, you got to solidify the game. You got to make 7 and 8. So I shot 7 and 8 today. Well, actually, it took us some time today. We were gassed.
Nah, it
actually went by fast. I say
today was actually fast. Like you gotta make 8 in a row.
Make 8 in a row.
You gotta make 8 in a row.
So I shoot 7, it kind of rattles in. I shoot 8 and it rattles in. I'm like, let me get one more. I'll shoot one more just to prove it.
Like, yeah, and I'm like, all right, you missed this. Like I don't care. We going back 0. It ain't no like we going back 0. We restart.
But it all falls back to my confidence. I know what caliber player I am, so I'm not gonna accept a rattle and make for game. And he's talking about Euro Cup championship on the line.
Yeah, I just
he said situations.
Yeah, I like to like as like even when I'm by myself. it's good to just visualize things, like
Yeah.
visualize success, and visualize situations that you might have not uh encountered yet. But I'm just saying out loud to him, like he want to go be in your league. So I'm like rookie forward, rookie, wing, shooting two at the line for the championship. Like,
And I mean, it's
are you
stuff
gonna
like
make
that.
it? Like,
And I was telling them after I said, one thing I learned just from diving into my word and trying to grow mentally is some people say like to avoid pressure. Like pressure's not a thing. Like pressure is not like it doesn't exist. Just try to count pressure out of your head. And like I think I think opposite would benefit me. Like embrace the pressure and embrace the moment you're in, but know the caliber of person you are. I'm stepping into stressful situations
mm-hmm.
knowing the man that I am, knowing that I can handle them. And at the end of the day, if I do fail, it's a lesson. But when I succeed, and I'm gonna say when I succeed,
Right,
uh, that just proves like it's proven to myself and it's proven to others. Like I knew I could do this all along, which
exactly.
and that doesn't come from a place of cockiness. It comes from a place of confidence
Mm-hmm.
that you have to have in yourself, especially as an athlete. I feel like that's a lesson that me and you have learned very quickly and early in our career.
Yeah.
So sitting in this seat now is kind of like I wouldn't be able to talk about half the things I said, today, just because one, based on experience, and two, based on just how far back I was, like mentally, I was just not ready to. Like I wasn't a man. I'll
Mm-hmm.
admit I was not a man back then. Like I was still a growing. I was a kid. So just having that good mentality about yourself and that confidence, it just like it leads you to places you never would have thought was possible. I do want to ask you a question before we wrap it up, and we will wrap it up here in a second. I know it's probably getting a little long winded, but everybody does have a story about the first time they started a basketball game. So I want to hear about yours because that normally does come with some adversity and inner stress and worry. So I want to hear about how you handled that.
First time I started a basketball game,
We can go. You can go
like
start at
what?
college basketball.
My first
First start at
college, my
Lawson.
first collegiate
Let's
start.
go first start at Lawson.
Okay, my first collegiate start. I can't tell you exactly who it was against, but um, I actually did at this point. My first start at Lawson was sophomore year. So freshman year we had a good squad, bro. We had guys that went on like our starting point guard is playing in China right now, like actually, and I just hit him up. Shout out to him, Mike Jacobs. So hopefully God blesses him with his journey. But we had a lot of guys outside of him that like Alex Hawkins. He played at Alcorn. We had Keonjay. We had a lot of guys that played on in 4 year. So I kind of had a role coming in off the bench, and then my sophomore year, that role still was kind of the same in the first 7 games. And I told myself, I said, I'm about to grab this starting spot. I'm not gonna go back. Got the starting spot, and like I said, I've done ingrained like the defensive like thing. So I kind of was like, I was a little nervous. Like I wouldn't lie if I wasn't. I didn't say I was
Yeah.
nervous, but at that point, I had kind of just known like I'm an elite defender. So
You
like
always got something to fall back
I
on.
always had something
That
to
makes
fall
sense.
back on, and I was just like, okay, what I'm gonna do is just worry about how I can help this team. Like I'm gonna just do what I can do to try to win, and not even worry about myself or like what I'm doing, what the stats are. A lot of people are gonna ask after you play how many points you had, and I would love to say I had 40, but I didn't have 40. Like probably have like 6 or something. But yeah, my first start, I just was like, okay, I'm gonna go cause havoc on defense
Yeah.
and really make the best player on the other side like have a horrible time. And like I had said before, like to myself and prayed to God. Luckily, after that, and by the grace of God, like I didn't look back. I started the rest of the season. That
Yeah.
was yours.
Mine was mine wasn't really eventful. It was my freshman year, and we were banged up. We had some injuries, and it's just goes like that. So I get, geez, this is a tough story to tell. So I get the nod and shooting around. I get the nod and playing Valdosta, and I'll give you a little backstory on Valdosta. They're up and down,
They're
pressing.
kind of nice.
They'll press you 40 minutes. They were really good that year. They're really good. A consistent program. Shout out Coach Helper.
Shout out Coach Elmer.
Shout out Coach Helper. But he yeah. So I mean, as soon as Malik Cartwright, who is my guy, I still reach out to Malik. He's in Greece right now playing. He was banged up, so I got to start. I'm walking out there for the jump ball. I'm shaking, and I think they see that. And if you scouted Delta State at the time, we're gonna fall back in a little 2-3 zone. And guess who's in the middle of that zone? Yeah. So we lose the opening tip, obviously, because I can't jump. Can't feel my legs. So I fall back in the zone. And this is before I started diving into film and really learning.
Oh gosh.
So I'm seeing the ball on the left wing, or from my perspective, it'd be the left wing. And I see the most athletic player in the league.
I knew where this was going.
I see the ball in the air, and here I go right here, watching it, and I see jersey numbers right here, and I take the biggest step forward in my life, and I did not. I will say I did not get dunked on. The clip does not look. The clip does not look bad. I fouled him. I fouled him. I fouled him, but the clip does not look bad. So I would say, after that first possession, that was very eye-opening to how college coaches work against, freshmen at the time.
Yeah, like that was your welcome to college type moment.
Oh no,
you had a worst moment.
Welcome to college was the first exhibition we played in. We played Southern Miss. I'm running down the court.
D1 school.
D1 school. 23-year-olds running this way. It's a turnover. We're both running the same way. I turn, my face hits his chest, and I fall. Like I can't. Like trainer has to come check on me.
He dunked on you?
We're at half court, Mac.
Oh.
We're both running. We're both running. Another Delta State.
I thought you were saying,
no. I turned to get back on defense. We turned it over, and I run straight into his chest.
Okay.
Like I run into the chest of Hulk.
Like it was a brick wall, basically.
And they had to stop the game to come see about me.
Yeah, bro. Like when you get to college, I ain't gonna lie, it's different. You feel the physicality.
It's different. It is.
The weight room is important for sure because they're grown men, bro. There's a lot of like 25-year-olds playing college basketball, and you're probably 18, 19, fresh out of high school. So,
the last thing we're gonna do before we wrap up, gonna give y'all a little piece of wisdom. Just it don't gotta be nothing crazy.
Yeah, mine today. I'm just gonna keep it real simple. I have it, I have it on my wall. I have it in my journal. I have it on my pages, like social pages. Is just trust God. As simple as that. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and like he tells you, like have that faith. All you have to have is a faith of a mustard seed, and you'll see amazing things happen in your life. So I think, like, thank the Lord, like through basketball, He's literally forced me to trust Him. Like, and it's just crazy how he uses things in life to connect to you. And I just can't thank Him enough. Trust God, man.
Yeah, I'd say mine. I didn't come in with one plan. I was just gonna kind of see how it went, but seeing from the things that I said, the things that you said, I'd say don't put God in a box. And I feel like I did mention in the podcast, like throughout this episode, I was like, I didn't know I was capable of the things that I could do, and at the end of the day, I'm not capable of them. Through God's grace, He's blessed me as a vessel to do those things.
Right.
So who am I to put God in a box saying that, oh, this isn't realistic for me, when I know He's gonna look out for me at the end of the day? And so that's my message to y'all. Do not put God in a box. He can do immeasurably more than you can imagine.
Yeah, His power is unlimited. Like unlimited. He's the creator of this world. Unlimited. Like there's nothing out of His jurisdiction.
And what's the quote that your mom said? Because that goes hand in hand.
Yeah, what God cannot do does not exist. And I think that's a great way to wrap up episode 1 of the game.
I appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll catch y'all in episode 2. It won't be too far after this one. I appreciate you, man. What's up?
They gonna be like Mega Rambler.